Hey y'all, it's Melinda and welcome to the Greenhouse. I've been waiting for you. For today's episode, I'm also coming to you from my back porch. It is one of my most favorite spots. It's like having an outdoor living room. And over the last year or so, my husband and I have really worked to make it a comforting space, from the hammock chair we hung this year to the cushions we replaced last year. It's just a comforting place to sit with a thought, with an iced coffee like I have tonight. And it's one of those nights, those early summer nights where the sun is setting, and where I live, we have the most beautiful sunsets. The skyline with the trees and the pond just create this perfect backdrop to see the setting sun. And tonight's sun is kind of like one of those that almost takes your breath away. It's orange all the way down to the horizon, but as it lifts from the horizon, it gets lighter and lighter as it comes up, almost looking like the sky is aglow with oranges and yellows. It's just one of those most beautiful evenings. So I am soaking up these last few moments, and I'm enjoying the gorgeous setting sun and thinking about how much has changed over the last several years. And my kids are growing. I've made, no secret that they're young adults now, and they're starting to move on and move out. And I have a mostly empty nest. But my whole life, one of my love languages, and what I want to talk to you tonight is love languages and short order cooking. And I know you're probably scratching your head saying, what in the world, Melinda, do love languages and short order cooking have to do? So if you're from the South or have ever been to a diner or particularly a Waffle House, you put in an order and the server calls it out in rapid succession to the person manning the griddle, and then they get busy making your meal. So for years in my life, I felt like that short order cook, always getting a new order or a new set of requests in my own home. I didn't seat my family down around the dinner table and give them a menu. I had prepared a meal. But my entire life, my primary love language that I demonstrate is acts of service. And that's in everything that I do. I love to tend to and show care for the people that I care about, whether it's doing their laundry or doing small things to make their life easier or less painful, smoothing that road for them, cooking meals, cleaning for them, providing them with intentional things. My children, including now my daughter-in-law, are all grown. But another act of service that I'm just unwilling or unready to give up is like giving them an Easter basket or Valentine's Day candy, just because I can, just because in those small moments, I want to make sure that they feel seen and cared for and tended to. That has always brought me significant joy as being a mother, as being a partner. Really showing others that I care for them through small acts of service. But I'll admit, I tend to take it a little too far, and I have a tendency to spoil my boys, my husband, my friends. My boys, admittedly, they're a little rotten. And for years, that looked sort of like this. I'd prepare a meal. I'd cook dinner. And at serving dinner, one of my boys, maybe even both, didn't want what I had made. And I would find myself back in the kitchen, back in front of the stove, preparing something different, preparing a second meal. And honestly, guys, it's kind of embarrassing, but sometimes even a third. Because, they were growing boys. They had to eat, right? I was their mom, and that was my job. But somewhere along the way, I stopped and asked myself, is this willingness to cook multiple meals really doing a service for them? Or am I doing a disservice to them? You see, I always had ramen noodles in the pantry or chicken nuggets in the freezer. There was always another option. So if the boys didn't like or didn't want what I had prepared, they were more than capable of tending to themselves. And if they weren't, they for sure needed to learn. So I stopped. I stopped making 2 dinners. And weirdly, that's now extended to nights where I just don't want to cook. There are things in the kitchen. Help yourself. You are more than capable. My role or my responsibility was not ensuring that they had what they wanted to eat. The pantries were stocked. There was food in the refrigerator. I was not accountable for making sure that they had exactly what they wanted at every single meal. I didn't own that. And letting go of that, letting them be frustrated, annoyed, even probably a little mad, had my stomach tied up in knots. Giving the boys the responsibility of figuring it out, either eat what I have prepared or find something else, made me incredibly uncomfortable. I didn't want to let it go. I had the guilt, that mom guilt in my head that was loud, and the voice kept telling me I was letting them down. I was making things harder for them. They didn't need to worry about what to eat. That was my responsibility. But you see, I wasn't letting them down. I wasn't the one who was responsible for catering to their whim. There was food. There was a meal. They were choosing not to eat it. And then it got me thinking even further that I'm not just raising children. My boys are one day going to need to be a partner, a spouse, a friend. They're going to need to learn to figure these things out on their own. They needed to learn how to compromise, how to fend for themselves, how to get comfortable with discomfort. I don't know why it took me 20 years to see that. I wasn't doing them a service. I was honestly doing them a disservice. And I had to get comfortable with letting them figure it out. But something weird happened along the way. Is once I stopped overgiving at home, I started noticing that tendency everywhere. I noticed it at work, where I was carrying responsibility or things that didn't really belong to me, that belonged to other teams or other people. I was carrying it in my friendships. I was absorbing the discomfort so no one else had to feel it. In my marriage, I found that I was smoothing things over long before they could even get bumpy. I was absorbing that. And every single time I made the second dinner, every single time I absorbed the discomfort, I was letting that cost me my own comfort, my own peace. And I was letting everyone around me know that my peace was less important than their preferences. And that led me to determine that pruning, it isn't punishment. It isn't cruelty. It's discernment. It's deciding what still has life and places that you've been watering out of habit or guilt or even out of some misguided belief that it's your job to make sure that no one around you, that no one you love is ever uncomfortable. So here's what I want you to do this week. Do not change anything. Don't take any action. I want you to just notice? Where are you making 2 dinners in your own life? Where are you fixing something? Where are you smoothing something over? Where are you absorbing something that is not and has never actually been yours to carry? You know, that thing that's circling in your brain right now, that thing that's on the tip of your tongue, the one that you're almost afraid to name, that's the one. That's the thing for you to look at. You don't have to fix it. Not this week. You just have to be willing to see it. And if you want some help with it, that's exactly what the Seed to Sprout session was built for. It's on Zoom twice per month. It's 90 minutes where you will leave with one clear boundary and a script to help you enforce it. The details, they're in the show notes. But until next time, I'll be right here in the greenhouse waiting for you. Have a great day, everybody.